for you.
These pop icons have just released their 19th album, The Neon. You of course know them from their hits Chains of Love, Oh L'Amour and Respect. I'm talking about Erasure. And recently I sat down with Andrew Bell about making music, living life and overcoming some challenges. Congratulations, a brand new Erasure album out. I've heard it. It is all the right elements of what you want to hear when you're a huge Erasure fan, but it feels fresh and new.
I think it's going to be a really good album. Vince and I met up at his studio in Brooklyn, where he lives, and we started writing maybe in June, July last year, and the tracks just kind of came out. It was like all your favourite 80s kind of original artists like Tenders, B-52s, and especially for me, Eurythmics. So
talk to me about your influences with ABBA, because listening to some of your earlier tracks back in the day, and I think sort of Oh L'Amour, you definitely hear ABBA undertones through that.
I feel a bit responsible because I feel like I made Vince too commercial in the beginning. Because we were just coming out of, especially on the gay scene in London, that had these kind of dance tracks, and it was all this like was the rhythm, and you know, also I was an unashamed ABBA fan.
By the way, Andy, any self-respecting homosexual man is an unashamed ABBA fan. Don't you talk that one down.
I mean, I loved them. You know, I was in school with my best friend, and we couldn't wait till like when every new album came out, we went and bought it and learned the words off by heart.
I did read a quote of yours that you'd said, you know, you can't just do Chains of Love and the same songs over and over again. How do you shake it up?
It's true. I mean, you try and shake things up, and then that can also trip you up, you know, because and your way of songwriting becomes stale. But you kind of have to go through that to be able to come out the other side. You have to have your black periods and your blue periods.
So when you talk about sort of your black period and your blue period, and in fact that DIY, it's the whole package that you've got to manage. What happens when you get that HIV diagnosis? How does that affect that whole world of yours?
I think what happened was I really retracted into my shell and stayed at home, wouldn't go anywhere. And I knew I had this kind of instinctive feeling that something wasn't right with my body. But at the same time, I was in denial about it. I still had this fear inside me. So it took me until, I think, 2004 to disclose my status.
Was there any part of you that, as you said, you had to hold it in for work reasons, but you might have had friends or lovers or people around you who weren't okay and weren't reacting? Was there any part of you, was there, I don't know whether guilt is the right word, or some sort of internalized thing of why me and not them?
At that time, I think my behavior was quite self-destructive. My lover was from California, and he had HIV just probably maybe 1 year after we'd started seeing each other. So that in itself was very hard for me. I was like a 20-year-old trying to process all this information and feelings.
How do you think the HIV stigma, how do you perceive the HIV stigma has changed from your being first diagnosed to where we are in this day?
I'm very glad that it's, you know, you do see it discussed in forums, on the TV, online. And it doesn't seem to be kind of such a taboo word even to come out of someone's mouth now that it used to be.
Do you think that was part of your messaging with that song of yours, of Erasure's back in the day? Have a little respect for me?
I just feel like, you know, your life is your life. And sometimes you make bad choices. Sometimes you make good choices. And I think, you know, when we have freedom, we have the freedom to tell the truth. And to me, it's about just being truthful and being as kind as you can be to your friends and people. You know, I'm not a saint. Nobody's a saint. You know, but just is having respect for people. I know that sounds corny, but it's that easy. You know, not rejecting people because of your faith and whatever, you know, it's just accepting of everybody and helping anyone in need, not turning people away.
You have helped raise a huge amount of money for HIV research and organizations around the world. Tell me a bit more about that. What are some of the things you're really proud of that you and the band have been part of as far as bringing awareness to this cause?
That I was really proud of was being the first band to say yes to the Red Hot and Blue Cole Porter album, which was to raise money for AIDS. I feel very proud of being a patron for HMI, Harvey Milk Institute, for working for equality, for marriage in California. Really, wherever we were invited to, if we could go, we would go. We would be there.
Andrew Bell is one of our biggest advocates in HIV and AIDS research. We all appreciate him, his commitment, and support. And for all you fans out there, mark your calendars, because you can catch Andrew Bell and Erasure on their next American tour, which is scheduled for the spring of 2021.